friends, welcome back to Llama Mama Kayla's Yarn Tube. I'm Kayla and I'm so excited that I'm able to be here with you today and that you are able to be here with me. So I hope you are having a great day. It is Friday. Yay, it's Friday, and that means absolutely nothing for me. The only thing that means for me is that Big Daddy will be home for the weekend, so I'm glad for that. But if you have plans for the weekend, what are you planning on doing? What's exciting going on for your weekend? We have nothing. It is going to rain, 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 and I'm going to be happy to sit in my house while it is raining. We did have a rummage sale that we wanted to go to for Saturday morning. I think it starts at like 7, and it's a fundraiser rummage sale thing, and so we really wanted to go and support that. We just may have to make a donation instead, because if it is pouring down rain, there's no way I'm gonna, go out to go. If it was not raining at the moment, we would. I don't know. It just depends on how we feel in the morning. It depends on how late we stay up Friday night, and then what time we get up Saturday morning. If we stay up till like 3 a.m., of course, we're probably not going to get up and go to a 7 a.m. rummage sale. It just depends. But anyway, we are expecting rain all weekend. And so I told Big Daddy last night, I was expecting this rain and that I'm good with just staying in all weekend. And, I do stay home alone by myself a lot, so any chance on the weekends that I do get to go somewhere, I am glad to get out of the house and just to, do something a little different than sit here. But yeah, I just don't like going out in the pouring down rain, and we're supposed to get like 90% tomorrow. And I am drinking just some Coca-Cola. I don't normally buy Cokes. Well, in the past, I hadn't normally bought Cokes. It's not something that I drink a lot of. But, the only time I ever drank Coke was when I was in the hospitals, a hospital visit, because that's what they have in the vending machines. So Big Daddy would always, make sure I had a few Cokes in my room. And so that was the only time I ever drank Cokes. And then I started buying those, which I'm out of right now, but I had started buying those Dr. Pepper strawberry and cream cans in the long cardboard box. And it would take me forever to drink a case of those, because I just don't drink them a lot. It was just like a special treat type thing. And I hadn't even bought any of those in a while, but I was getting those every now and then. And then whenever I had the spinal fluid leak, the doctor said drink a lot of caffeine. He said just drink lots and lots of caffeine. So Big Daddy was getting me Cokes, Mountain Dew, teas, coffee, just anything that, we thought had caffeine in it. He was bringing home for me to drink. And so I kind of got, drinking Coke again some. Not a whole lot, but, I'm drinking it. But, we do buy some sodas every now and then, like cream soda or root beer or Coke. For me, mainly I'll have it if I run out of tea and there's nothing else to drink. I'll have that, as a backup. And then also, I keep drinks like that for when my little buddy Zeke comes down and stuff. But I usually buy him his own special bottles, so he has his own drinks. But anyway, so I'm working on my sweetheart blanket. That's what I'm doing this month. And it is a granny rectangle. And today is the 9th video on this blanket. So if you've, want to go back and check out the past videos, they're here on my channel. So what I'm doing is I started this granny blanket with 3 granny squares. I single crocheted them together on the back side, and I'm going around and around to make a granny rectangle blanket. I do have a video on my channel about 2 different ways to make a granny rectangle blanket, and one is, you know, doing the chain and then starting going around the chain, and the other one is doing it with granny squares. In that particular video, I showed where I made one starting out with 3 rounds for my granny square. This one I chose 1, 2, 3, 4 colors, and then the 5th color was white, so I did each square in white so that it would kind of go around like that, and then started from there. And so I'm repeating these colors, but as you know, your skein's going to get smaller and your blanket's going to get larger. So after a few rows of doing 1 round in each color, not a few rows, I did one color set from the granny square, and then from here up I did 1 color set of going around 1 time all the way around with each color. Then I started making these balls. So, and I'm still going in the same color sequence that I started with, but I'm using these balls, and they don't go all the way around, and then I just tie on and go the next color. And so it's, while it's, you know, rounds aren't making it all the way around, it's still very eye-pleasing, and it looks like it flows. And so I'm enjoying working on it. I think it's going to be a pretty blanket. And so, if you want to go back and hear more deets on that, the videos are there. I'm using a J hook, which is a 6mm hook, and that's my favorite size hook for a blanket and for the drapiness of it and everything, you know. So anyway, that's what I've got going on. That's what I'm working, and I'm answering questions this month in the videos. And so if you want to leave me a question in the comment section under the video, go right ahead and I will try to answer that question in tomorrow's video. So yeah, that's what we got going on. So I have a list of questions here that we're going to talk about. I do want to say thank you all so much for praying for my finger. I'm still having some issues with it, but it's not throbbing in pain right now, and so that's a good thing. I'll take that. You know, I'm so thankful that it is not throbbing in pain, but I'm trying to be easy with it and not like I've, you know, forget sometimes and reach to do something with, you know, this hand. And so I'm mostly doing things like this as I'm, you know, doing things around the house or whatever. I just don't want to mash on that finger too hard to like try to pick things up or whatever I'm doing. I don't want to mash on the finger and all that, because that is really painful. So I'm just doing some light crocheting and you know, not really mashing on the finger or anything. It is touching a little bit, but yeah, I'm just trying to cope. Okay, yeah. Trying to cope. And I had told someone, you know, that, no, for me, in the past years, my finger issues, my Raynaud's, started up in 2013. Well, only the people who were close to me and was around me every, you know, several times a week, that was active in my life, things going on there, is the people who knew what was going on with my finger. I didn't like announce it on Facebook or, you know, make a real big deal out of it at that time. It was the first finger, and I really wasn't expecting to lose the finger, okay? Like, that was not even in my thoughts. But when I had went to the doctor, he admitted me. Several doctors came by to see me, and then finally a doctor came that I was familiar with and did trust. He came by and he said, we're going to have to take it off. And I was just like, what? And so then I was like, oh. So I was like, I need to tell my sister. Like, my sister don't even know. I need to tell her. And so I had to call her up that night and tell her, hey, I need to tell you something. They're cutting off my finger tomorrow. But yeah, so anyway, saying that, then later on, as I started losing fingers, I was like, okay, well, you know, and I, you know, let people know that, hey, I got another finger acting up. But, yeah, so the only people who really know about my finger is you guys, all 22,000 and something of y'all. No, ever how many has watched my videos, but anyway, and then my friend Angela knows, and of course, you know, Big Daddy. But outside of that, nobody really knows what's going on with my finger. And so I'm, you know, I don't want anyone to ever feel sorry for me. Please, that is, you know, I don't like that. I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. My thing is just, as I can, bring awareness to different issues that I have going on, and then, but hey, this is how I'm dealing with it, you know. It is what it is. I can't change it, but I still got to live my life and function through it, right? But anyway, saying all that to say that I had said something to someone this morning. I didn't want to really come right out and say what was going on with me because I don't know this person that well. So I just said I had a life-changing issue going on, and I was trying not to think about it, but it was hard not to think about it. And anyway, I was talking about my patina doll. Matter of fact, where is Patina? Where is she? Here she is. Here is my patina doll. She went with us to the doctor the other day, and I did take a picture of her by a fountain outside the hospital. But anyway, you can see she has on her little Mickey Mouse, well, maybe you can see her little Mickey Mouse shoes and a Mickey Mouse shirt and a little red jacket. And so I was saying that Patina is really my emotional support therapy dog, because she helps take my mind off my chronic issues and everything, you know. And I didn't want to really say what was going on with my finger, because, you know, that's kind of like to tell somebody you really don't even know, hey, might have another finger cut off, and I don't even know that she knows I have any fingers cut off, right? So so anyway, I was just talking about how, you know, taking some photos or making up a little story or one-liner about patina takes my mind off my chronic pain and what I have going on. Even though I'm still aware it's there, it just gives me something else to think about for the moment, right? And so, anyway, I don't even know where I was going with this story, other than, you know, like the whole world except the 22,000 of you. The rest of the world doesn't know. Oh, that's funny. Anyway, guys, let's see. I am going to just jump in here and start answering some questions, because y'all have some great questions, and I love these questions. I love being able to answer them, because, you know, typing is hard for me, right? Yeah. And just holding a phone, even though you type with your thumbs, just holding the phone itself is hard for me. That's a difficult thing. Typing on the computer is a hard thing for me. So this is really easy for me to just answer some questions like this verbally. And I'm glad that you guys are liking that and you understand my difficulty, you know. So thanks a bunch. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys so very much. Y'all just don't really even know how much I appreciate y'all. Y'all are so supportive and loving, and y'all say the kindest, sweetest things that are so unnecessary. Really and truly. Okay, so someone was asking about Raynaud's, and that's my condition. That's what I have on my hands. And she was saying that I think she was saying, okay, when I read through the comments, I just jot down a word or two. I don't write the whole question because, you know, that's hard for me. Plus, I can't even read my writing. And, because I write with this hand, so I'm holding a ink pen like this and writing, and it looks like a kindergartner who is very bad at writing wrote it down. And so I didn't write the whole question. I just wrote Jan-Reynolds. But I think she said, if I remember correctly, that she's having some issues. She hadn't been diagnosed, but she's pretty sure that's what's going on. And I really wish I could remember what her question was. I don't know. Yes, my Raynaud's does act up in the summertime also. Mine is not just cold weather Raynaud's. It's summertime too. And, yeah. There's not really a test to say, oh, we're going to do this blood test to see if you have Raynaud's. Well, if your, you know, fingers continue to do that, turn white, turn purple, turn red when the blood rushes back through and stuff like that, you know, I mean, it's Raynaud's. There's not a test to do to say if you have Raynaud's or not. As far as I know, there's not. There's no blood test or anything like that. So, yeah, Raynaud's can be very, very painful. It is. When them fingers turn white and there's no blood flow going through there, that is the most painful. Maybe, I don't know if it's the most painful, but it is a very painful experience. And sometimes just being in the grocery store, walking next to the meat, you know, over there, if you're walking down that aisle that's next to the meats and stuff like that, is enough to set it off. And sometimes it just sets off for no reason. And I don't know if this was the question. Somebody asked about, keeping on the Raynaud's topic, because there was several questions there. I know somebody asked, do they know what caused my Raynaud's? I don't think there's a, you know, it's an autoimmune disease type thing. I don't know that there is a cause for it. I mean, some people get lupus, some people don't. You know, some people get scleroderma, some don't. Some people, you know, have asthma, some people don't. I don't think there's a cause like this right here caused you to have Raynaud's. It's not like that. Okay, so moving on. Oh, I cracked up when I read this comment. Someone was saying that she watches NCIS, and her husband do, and sometimes they watch it in the evening together. That is awesome. And she said that, you know, they'll sit down to watch TV and they'll say, you know, what do you want to watch? And what do you want to watch? And then they'll say, let's just go straight to the crack. So NCIS is their crack. When I post on Instagram, I post dolls are my drug, or yarn is my drug, stuff like that. You know, it's part of my hashtag. I'll put dolls are my drug. And that's true. Anything for patina. Anyway, but I did laugh when I read that NCIS is your crack. I get it. Let's see. And a lot of you guys watch NCIS, and that just cracked me up too. And lots of you like the same shows that I like. You know, my old standbys that I watch continuously. Let's see. Somebody asked, is the yarn in my yarn room, does it get dusty? No, I don't think so. Not in my yarn room. That is a room, it's on the back of the house, and I keep that door closed. It's closed and latched at all times, unless I go in there, you know, to do something and get something and all that kind of stuff, or just if I'm in there. But other than that, that door is closed. Even when I go in there, I do close the door, trying to, you know, just keep the cats out so that they're not just, I can focus on what I'm doing in there and not them. But, yeah, because I do keep that door closed, it's not, I don't notice the dust in there. Now, these rooms up here in the front of the house, yes, they get dusty. Very much so. But I get what you're saying. You know, you want to see your yarn, so you know what you have, you know how much you have of something, and I get that so very much. Yes, I wanted to see. I had yarn in tote boxes, and it was more trouble to get the tote boxes out, get someone to get them down for me, get them out, look through them, and put them back up after I selected what I wanted. That was more trouble than just going to the store and buying some more yarn. Okay? That is just the honest truth there. Alright, so moving on along. Okay, somebody asked about my friend Angela. And if you don't know, Angela is my BFF. We've been friends since the 4th grade in elementary school. She's been my best friend since then. And so somebody was asking who is older, me or Angela. Well, you better believe that witch is older than me. She was born in January, and I wasn't born all the way until April. 4 months. So she's older than me, and I do tease her about that at times. I mean, I always make a big deal out about that 4 months that she's older than me. I make a big deal out of it. Not that she really cares. But when we were kids, I would lie because I wanted to be the oldest. And now I want to be the youngest. Really bad. So at times we can't even remember how old we are or what year we was born because of the lies we told when we were kids. We laugh at ourselves. But anyway, she's we're both 53. She's already turned 53, and I'll turn 53 in April. So, yep. Alright, so someone's, and as long talking about Angela, somebody asked to do, when is she going to come back and we do a video together. So, what do you say, Angela? You're in control of that. So maybe she will. Who knows? We'll have to see about that. See when we can get together and do a video. I know I've told y'all she's a homebody, but she works. You know, she works her 40 plus hours a week. And then she, when she's off, you know, she likes to be at home. She gets her running around done. And then she likes to be at home and not running around doing stuff. So I don't blame her, you know. I get tired of sitting at home. Well, she gets tired of going to work. You know what I mean? So she enjoys her days off and wants to just be at home when she's off work. And she does have 3 pups that depend on her. And she has to think about them. And, you know, so. Alright, so somebody asked about Valentine's Day. I think I had a couple questions about Valentine's Day. One was, what's our plans, I think? Maybe somebody asked that, but here's the deal. Valentine's Day is a hit or miss with us. Now, if we don't do a thing, if we don't even mention it's Valentine's Day, that is perfectly fine with me. It's no big deal. It's just another day of the year to get you to spend money, right? Yeah. It's a commercial holiday. And so, If Big Daddy doesn't give me anything, that is perfectly fine. I'm not going to say a word. I'm not even going to think about it. But in the past, he does try to get me some kind of doll. Usually like a Our Generation doll from Target or something like that. He's been consistent to get me something like that, but sometimes it don't happen. I'm not saying he does every year. Sometimes it don't happen, and that's perfectly fine. It's just another day. And so used to, long time ago, we don't have a Krispy Kreme donut place here, but there's somewhere over in Mississippi, close to Louisiana and Mississippi, it does. And at one point, someone he was working with, I guess they lived over in Mississippi and they would drive here for, work. And so, there for several years while that person worked with Big Daddy, he would give them the money for them to get me a dozen donuts. Now, of course, I shared those with him and the kids, but, since we didn't have a Krispy Kreme donut place here, he would get them to get me Krispy Kreme donuts in Mississippi and bring them to his work for him, and then he would bring them home, for me, instead of a dozen roses, which I'm not a flower girl. I would get a dozen donuts. And so I always thought that was, kind of special that he went through all that trouble to get me a dozen donuts. And then, like I said, they weren't all for me. I'd share with the kids and him, So it was more like for the family. But it was still a good memory. And, special. Just special. So for this year, we don't have any plans for Valentine's Day. We don't have plans, and we really don't have like extra funding to like plan anything and do anything that special anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with just sitting at home and eating a bowl of ice cream, okay? I'll be perfectly fine with that. Like I said, it's hit or miss with us. Some years we have went out to eat, and some years we haven't, and this is probably one of the years where we're just gonna chill at home. Now, in the past year, couple of years, I have done a Valentine tea party on YouTube, Crochet Valentine tea party, so, might possibly do that. I hadn't thought about that just yet, so we might possibly do that. So if you have a special snack you want to get for yourself, or fix yourself, or a special drink you want to get your hands on, and we will have a crochet tea party coming up on the 14th. So yeah, I hadn't even thought about it really until now. So yeah, let's plan on that. Let's do that. So we can certainly get together, you and me and everybody else, and have a little tea party. So yeah, be thinking about that. Make sure you have your a little special drink or special snack or whatever you want for your tea party. If you don't drink tea, you can drink coffee, Coke, water. Get your wine out, I don't care. Get your champagne, your wine coolers, or whatever. I don't really care what you drink. Let's just get together and have a good time. Alright, so let me move on. Speaking of NCIS, this TV show, somebody said that they were recommending, since I like that, to try the NCIS Hawaii. I'll have to give that a try. I think my friend Angela did watch all the Hawaii ones. I was trying to watch the NCIS New Orleans, so I watched that sometimes. But I'll have to give the Hawaii one a try. Thank you. Okay, so moving on down. Somebody, I laughed at this now. Somebody said they have a cat named Sunny, and he likes to watch animals on TV, so he'll watch Sassy and Sissy. and she fixed him a kitty bed to be by her. So, and you know, I say puppy bed a lot because Phoebe has a puppy bed. And so I'll tell her, go get in your puppy bed. And she said sometimes she'll slip up and tell her cat, instead of say get in your kitty bed, she'll accidentally say get in your puppy bed, and she don't even have a dog. She says she don't even have a dog. And she says that sometimes. Girl, I get it. I say the most craziest things sometimes that don't even make sense. I know. I mean, yes. Just like, you know, my kids growing up, you know, people call their kids like the other one's name, the wrong name and all. Girl, I would even go through the dogs' names sometimes when I was trying to tell the kids something or, you know, holler for them. I'd say each other's names. I'd say all the dogs' names, just whatever, you know. One time I was telling one of the dogs to get in the kennel. We were fixing to leave to go to town, and I was saying, you know, get in the kennel. And whatever that dog's name at the time, I don't remember who it was, but anyway, but I wasn't saying the dog's name. I was saying, Elijah, get in the kennel. Elijah, get in the kennel. And finally, Elijah's like, I'm not getting in the kennel. And I'm like, what? I was saying the dog's name. Oh, too funny. And then sometimes I say stuff like, you know, I just call things the wrong thing sometimes. You know, ain't it weird how our brain does that? So, when we were at Walmart and I was getting some ice cream, I told Big Daddy to, you know, get me a big bucket of ice cream. And I said, I'm going to go over here and get some caramel gravy. And so I went over to get the bottles of caramel, you know, salt, syrup to put on the ice cream. Except I called it gravy. But anyway, and I went back and I said, this is the only bottle of gravy they had. So, I'll tell him, you know, will you mind fixing me a bowl of ice cream and put some caramel gravy on it? Okay, so let's see. Oh, somebody said that their daughter's boyfriend accidentally cut his finger off, his pinky finger, and he keeps it in the freezer. That is hilarious. That's hilarious. That he has a finger in the freezer. Now, I have had weird things in my freezer before, but never a pinky. I never had a finger in my freezer. One time, okay, we homeschooled, you know. Homeschoolers do lots of science experiments and projects and just, you know, we want to do it all. So at one point, I had ordered a cow's eye to dissect, and I ordered a whole kit. I had like a worm, frog, just all kinds of little things that, you know, we were dissecting, and we did that many times over the years because it was just, you know, something fun to do. Did it with both kids multiple times. And so one time we were at a homeschool activity, and another mom was talking, and she was like, telling me that she had just got her package in, and they were fixing to do, dissect the cow's eye. And she's like, I wish I had told you and you could have ordered one and we could have done it together. I said, I have a cow's eye in my refrigerator right now. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, I have a cow's eye in the refrigerator right now. And so we got together the next day. I went to their house and we dissected cow's eyes just because I had one in the refrigerator already. So you never know what people have in their freezers or refrigerator, right? I guess you don't expect people to have a finger in their freezer or a cow's eye in their refrigerator, but, you know, that's the way it is sometimes. Let me tell you something I used to do as a kid. Now, keep in mind, I raised myself, okay? I didn't have parents there, like, watching after me. I had to make my own entertainment, okay? Me and Angela we were feral kids, okay? After school, we ran that neighborhood. We were on our bikes, or four-wheeler, or go-karts, or whatever, and we were just running that neighborhood, doing what wild kids do, get in trouble. Okay? And so, like I said, we had to make our own entertainment. We just did not have, anybody, like, doing anything with us, really. And so, back then, I don't know if I've seen these, like, too much lately, but I'm not really into jewelry, so I don't know. But back then, for some reason, we had some little jewelry boxes around our house, which I'm talking about these little white square boxes. Sometimes they'd be kind of long, like maybe a bracelet was in it, or sometimes they were just like a rectangle or square. And it was just this little white box. It was a little more than cardboard, and it would have just like a little thin layer of this kind of like polyfill stuffing, except it was just one little sheet of it. It was a whole sheet, and it would have that in there, right? So for some reason, when I was a kid, I would take one of those boxes and cut a hole in the bottom of the box, and I would stick a finger through it and put my finger in that box and put some ketchup around it, like somewhere around the end or something, and then put the lid on it. And then I would go up to other kids in the neighborhood and I'd say, I found a finger, look at this finger I found. And I'd take the lid off, and and if it was a younger kid, of course they'd be like, oh, and yeah, I don't know why I did that, but I did that when I was a kid. A lot. I can recall doing that a lot. I don't know. We were dumb kids, okay? We were so dumb. We just had to make up our own games and entertainment. Okay, somebody asked, did I want more children? I have 2 children. One is 32 and one is 24. And so somebody was asking, did we want more children? I did. Our family doctor that we had for many, many years, he told me one time, he said, I treat, and he had a lot of kids. He probably had about 5 or 6 kids, maybe. He said, I treat a lot of people, and I see a lot of elderly people. And, he's telling me this one day in the office, and he said, people's regrets are not that, I wish I had went on more vacations. I wish I had done this, or I wish I had done that, or I bought this, or I wish I had bought that. He said his elderly patients that he sees, their one thing that they say they wish they had done was had more children. And I thought about that. That stuck with me all those years. Now, Dakota had, when he was born, he ended up having pyloric stenosis surgery at 5 weeks old. And he was a little sickly kid. He was premature, and he was just a little sickly kid. And it took us a while to try again. And then we had miscarriages. And then we finally had Elijah. Okay, so then Elijah, the whole time I was pregnant with Elijah, we said, we're going to have another baby back to back. I mean, just right after Elijah, we're going to have another one. Because Dakota was 7, almost 8 years older than Elijah. So it was like almost an 8 years difference, because Dakota was going to be turning, Elijah was born in December, and Dakota was going to be turning 8 in February. So he was almost 8 years older than him. So we said we was going to have another baby, you know, quickly, so that he had, you know, a sibling to grow up with closer to his age. And yeah. And we also said, and this kid's going to eat, because, you know, Dakota didn't eat. He's very picky, with his little vegetarian self. But anyway, then Elijah was born sick. Elijah was born so sick, and he was born with eosinophilic gastroenteritis, and that was a doozy. I mean, he cried his first 6 months of his life nonstop, screaming, crying. You know, doze off for 10 minutes and wake up screaming, crying again. Yeah, there wasn't no baby making going on. There wasn't no baby making going on while your kid's screaming. And so, yeah, we did not have another child. And then went to find out his issues, and, you know, it was scary to think, oh, we could have more kids like this. So, yeah, we didn't. And I do regret that, because, I would like more children. I mean, my children, I love them so much. As, you know, you can imagine, all us parents do, right? I just love my kids, and Big Daddy does too. We love our boys so much. Talked to Elijah Wednesday night. He called me, actually, while we were still in Shreveport. He called me and talked for a little while and told me a bunch of scary stuff going on, just about his job, people breaking in and doing things, and somebody broke in his friend's car, and just things like that. You know, he's telling me all these scary things, and then when I let him go, I said, hey, next time you call me, don't tell me all this scary stuff. Because now I worry about him, right? And then Dakota called me last night, talked to him for a little bit, and then Dakota's my little nosy one, and I had mentioned something that I really didn't have details on, but I asked him if he heard anything about the situation in our town with some people that we knew because they homeschooled, but I'm not close to him now to like know what's really going on. And so I asked him had he heard anything about that, because he knows a lot. And so he didn't know. And then this morning he called me back to give me all the details. He got them overnight, just by accident. He said he had saw something, and then went from that investigating, and then it led to what I had asked him about. And so anyway, so he called me this morning to give me the gossip of what that situation was and everything. So yeah, I love my kids. I love for them to call me and talk to me just about nothing of importance, you know. But yeah, I wish I had more children, especially as we get older. Yeah, if I maybe wouldn't be so lonely if I had a bunch of kids. I don't know. I mean, you know, kids grow up, they have a life of their own. They have jobs, they have animals. I mean, you know, they have to go home and tend to their animals and homes and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I get it. I know how it is. But at least they call me. Let's see, what else we got going on here? Somebody asked about the amount of morphine I'm getting. I don't know that right off. I mean, it probably says it in my pump. I know that it does. But, it's not in here with me. But it's a tiny, tiny amount of morphine that I'm getting right now. The doctor's upping that dosage 20% every time I see him. And I could be seeing him every week. But, you know, I told him since we live out of town, it's just not feasible for us to come weekly. So we're going every other week. And so I'm getting my uppage slower than most people do, because they go weekly to get it increased. And I'm okay with that, you know. I'm okay with it being slower. My body's adjusting to it more, I guess, as time is going. But anyway. it's a tiny, tiny amount. Eventually we'll get it up to the amount that it's therapeutic and actually helping me. Yeah. Let's see. Somebody asked about Big Daddy's coin collection. What kind of coins does he collect? I don't know. Old ones? I don't know. He has coins of all kinds. He has coins, not just, he has foreign coins, not just USA coins. He has coins from other countries, old coins. I don't know. He's always looking at coins. Anytime I have coins in my purse, if I'm going to spend coins, he wants to look at them first. So he has, like, you know, a whole bunch of dimes. And he does put some in folders and binders and stuff like that. So he has his coin collection. He likes to look at them. He likes to tell me about them, but I really don't know what he's telling me. I mean, I act interested. Okay, so Dorothy, I'm so sorry. I know that a lot of you guys understand chronic pain and illnesses and things going on because you're dealing with them yourself. And I'm just glad that, you know, we can just be here to support each other and encourage each other any way that we can. And so, anyway, Dorothy did put this on a public comment, so I'm assuming it's okay to say it, but she just has went through, I think that's breast cancer surgery. And so I wish you well in your recovery. My prayers go out to you, and I hope that your recovery is good and that you don't have, you know, any complications or anything from that. So I'm so sorry you're having to deal with that, though. It's rough, I know. I mean, I don't have cancer, so I don't know that part, but I know illnesses are rough, okay? I didn't mean to say that. Sometimes words just fly out of my mouth and I don't even know what I'm saying, okay? But I'm so sorry that you are dealing with that, and life, illnesses and health issues is rough. So, and I was telling someone this morning, she is dealing with a big flare, and so I was telling her, you know, that I get it. Life, health issues is horrible. It sucks. And chronic pain wears on you and takes you down mentally, emotionally, physically, you know, it's hard. And I was telling her to, you know, find your escape, find something you can focus on just to take your mind off of it for just a moment. And I was telling her about patina, you know. So, Dorothy, I hope you have an escape. Oh, let's see. Jokes on me. Okay, so somebody was asking, our family, you know, we play jokes on each other and we pick on each other. Like we pick on each other to the point where that person's almost crying and then we stop. Well, some of us stop. Some of us keep going. Sometimes I have to tell Dakota, okay, back off. But we are like that. We just pick on each other. Like, we'll pick one person that day, and that's the person we pick on all day long. Anyway, we're just funny like that. And, you know, we all know that we're picking, but sometimes some people carry it too far. So, sometimes some people, like, have their feelings on their sleeve, and, yeah. And that makes it even funnier. Honestly, that makes it even funnier because we all know we're picking, and even the person who, you know, might have their feelings on their sleeve, they know it's funny too. We're just like that. Okay, so they were asking about jokes on me. Okay, one time, at one point, Big Daddy and I once upon a time, we went to bed at the same time at night. That was a fairy tale story ago. And whenever we would go to bed, the one who was the last person to go to the bathroom was the last one through the house. The other one, we would turn off the lights and take off and hide somewhere and scare that person as they walked by. One night, I went and got under the dining table, and as Big Daddy walked by, I reached out and grabbed his leg. Well, that scared him to death, you know? So, a night or so later, I was the last one to the bathroom. So he turns out all the lights and he goes, and I know he's going to be somewhere. Like, I know. I'm looking for him. I'm fully expecting him to be there. Okay? Now, the kids have already went to bed. It was just he and I up, and we were going to bed. And so I got all the way to the playroom, and I was like, where's he at? Where's he at? And I looked up, and he's standing in Elijah's doorway. No, he was standing in Dakota's doorway. And the kids had these bead curtains in their doorway. Like Dakota's was black and white, and I think it made an 8-ball. It was these long bead tube things, and they hung all the way down. And he was standing right on the other side of that with his face right up in it. And I knew he was going to be there. It scared me to death, and he didn't even touch me or anything. He was just standing over there, and I saw him. I bounced off everything in that playroom. There was a couch there. I bounced off that couch into toys and all kinds of stuff. I ended up falling into Elijah's room, and he had one of those bead curtains too. It was a big dragon on it. And I fell into Elijah's room, and our kids are waking up to all this, like, what are y'all doing? I hurt myself. I ended up hurting myself because I fell. So, was falling and bouncing into everything and just couldn't get my balance. It happened really fast, but it sounds like it was a drawn out thing, but it was really fast. And it was so funny. And Big Daddy said, well, that was the last night of that. And so we never did that again. It was so funny, though. We laughed and laughed about that. Like, we probably laughed for an hour before we actually even fell asleep. Yeah, we just crazy. We're crazy. And my kids and I, like Dakota, we have always, did a Christmas gag gift with each other. And sometimes I'd give him a present that was a gag gift that he didn't quite know was a gag gift. But we used to do that to each other all the time. I'd give him a gag gift. He'd give me a gag gift. It wasn't like a planned thing. It was just something. And one year, I don't remember exactly what led up to this, but to say that, I'm sorry, I'm not the mom you wanted, I would say, I'm sorry, I'm not a Jiffy mom, like the Jiffy peanut butter. I would say, I'm sorry, I'm not a Jiffy mom. It's because I bought Great Value peanut butter. And so that was my way of saying, I'm sorry, I'm not the mom you wish you had, or whatever, you know. And so that year for Christmas, unbeknown to each of us, we gave each other a big jar of Jiffy peanut butter. And so that was funny. Like, I don't remember even which one of us opened it first, but one of us opened the peanut butter, and then later on the other one opened the big jar of peanut butter. So that was funny. But we've always done stuff like that. Yes, we're just crazy. Somebody asked about traveling. And somebody else has asked about this before, but, you know, if money was no object, where would you travel? Where would you like to travel to, or whatever? I love water. I love being near the water. So I would want to go somewhere close to the water. Now, I throw out Hawaii there a lot. Basically, the reason why I say that is because of the temperatures there. I just feel like it's nice weather, and I might be making all that up in my head, but you know, and there's lots of water to sit by. So, but you know, Biloxi, Gulfport, somewhere down south at the Gulf is just as fine with me. Or anywhere is just water. I mean, I don't have to go like a fancy vacation. Matter of fact, somebody asked, where do we go on vacation? That's another question that's going to be coming up. We have not been on vacation since, I think, 2010. We actually went to Biloxi, Mississippi after Dakota had graduated. And we went down there and spent a whole week on the beach, doing nothing except on the beach. Well, we did go to like a lot of art museums and science museums and stuff like that. But our main thing was, that's what we went to do, is just sit on the beach. And we have not been on a vacation. Any of our trips out of town are mainly always somewhere around a medical situation. Unfortunately, don't really go on vacations. Not that I wouldn't want to, it just hasn't happened that way. Okay, so after the fuchsia comes purple. So anyway, yeah, I'd like to go on a vacation one day that doesn't have anything to do with anything medical. Just to go somewhere, me and Big Daddy. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. At some point, I do want to go, as it warms up, I want to go to Hot Springs to see Elijah and spend maybe a weekend up there with him. Probably just like a day and a night, and the next night come home. And when we do that, I think Dakota is going to go with us for that. But anyway, so somebody asked about DNA, and they were saying that they had a DNA test, and have I ever done that? I did that, with the ancestry DNA. The way it come about that I did that was, there was a gentleman who was an elderly man, and he found out he was adopted, and he found out that he was a Freeman. That was his bloodline. And so he was looking to see what Freemans he was related to, and was wanting to, connect with family. And so he had contacted someone else that was a Freeman, and she did the DNA test for him. He purchased the test. She did the DNA test for him, but she wasn't a very close relative. I can't remember what hers come out. I can't even remember what mine come out either. But I was a closer relative than she was. And so she told him about, well, I know someone else who is a Freeman, but my mom was a Freeman. My mom's maiden name was Freeman. And so she said, I know someone else who's a Freeman line. And so he sent a test for me to take, and I did that. And it was very surprising. Like, I don't know if I really even trust that. Like, things I have been told all my life did not come up on that DNA test, okay? Yeah, that DNA test had me like, I guess I'm British. I don't know. I mean, I can't remember what all it said. I haven't looked at that in a long time, many years, but yeah, I did that. But I don't know what it said. Not Elijah. Dakota is very much into ancestry, genealogy, and that kind of stuff. He's all into that. And, anytime a new census thing comes out, he's like up all night, like poring over that and going through records and stuff like that. So I'm not really into that. I just, Dakota tells me about it, and that's good enough for me. Okay, so somebody asked about homeschooling, because I homeschooled my kids for 23 years. And they asked what was my kids' reactions to being taken out of school to be homeschooled. They had no reaction whatsoever because they never went to school. I never sent them to school, so all they knew was homeschool. They didn't know anything about public or private school or whatever. So, yep. No reactions. That was their norm. Like, really and truly, that was their normal, was homeschooling. They never knew any different. The first time they went to school was college. So, let's see. Somebody was asking about my chronic pain. They wanted to know, like, what kind of chronic pain do I have? Well, unfortunately, my muscles are very, very tender and just ache. And, I mean, Big Daddy can hug me and it hurts so bad. And, you know, I try to remind him, but he forgets and he don't realize he gives bear hugs. And, he just don't realize that sometimes. And sometimes, you know, like, his hugs will almost bring me to tears at times. But, you know, I try not to say much. And sometimes, like, he'll reach to grab me or to hug me or pull me close to him. And when he does, he, like, you know, pulls me. And just that, him taking his fingers and pulling me to him, it's so painful. Like, my muscles just can't take it. It hurts. It really does. Okay, so other than muscles, my joints hurt. Every joint on my body hurts. And so, I often say my whole skeleton hurts. Like, seriously. My whole skeleton just aches and hurts. And then also just chronic fatigue, and just feel like I am absolutely drained, overexhausted. I feel like I'm just walking through peanut butter. Like, imagine how hard that is to, you know, walk through water. Well, imagine if that water was thicker like peanut butter. And that's the way I feel. I feel like I'm just wading through peanut butter. But yeah, that's what it's like. So somebody asked, okay, so in 2016, we had the Great Flood in Louisiana. And, I mean, it flooded bad down here. So our home was flooded. We had to leave. We had to evacuate our home and leave and go and stay somewhere else. We ended up using someone's camper, and so we were like camping, and it was really rough on me and my chronic illness. I mean, that period that we went through, that probably added 10 years to my life. It was really, really a bad situation on that side. But anyway, so once the water went down, which took a while for the water to go down and stuff, we had to rebuild our house. We had to just gut it, throw everything away, and gut our house and rebuild. And so you know, I've mentioned that our boys rebuilt the house. And so someone was asking, you know, how did your kids rebuild your house? How did they know how to do that? Well, we are just the type of people that we're just going to figure it out and do it, okay? Yeah, we didn't know how we were going to do it, but we did it. You know, you watch YouTube for things you don't know how to do that you need to know how to do, like laying floors. You watch a YouTube video. Yeah, we just did it. I mean, my kids didn't have a choice because we didn't have money to pay someone to do it. So if our home was going to get rebuilt, we had to do it ourselves. Now, prior to that, me and Big Daddy built onto our home because our home was only 600 square feet at one point. And we decided, hey, after Elijah was born, that 600 square feet's not big enough for 4 people. And, I mean, we lived the tiny home phase, and I'm totally over tiny home. I don't want to ever go back to a tiny house again. I'm completely content with my home the way it is. But anyway, we decided we needed to build on to our house, and so we built a huge playroom and 3 bedrooms onto our house. So we added another 600 square feet, which doubled our home at that time. Okay, so me and Big Daddy didn't know how to build a house either, but we knew what we wanted. We drew up our plans, and we did it. Every board, every piece, every nail, every piece of whatever went into that house. I got the best possible price I could find in town. Even getting used lumber sometimes and used things. And we built that house. At night, we would put the kids in the living room with the TV on, fix them a pallet on the floor so they could go to sleep, and set them up with, whatever they needed. And of course, we were checking on them continuously because we were just, we were here just on the other side of the wall building the house. And so we would go out there and fight every night while we built this house. We fought our way through it. And we got it done. Now, we had a friend who was a contractor, and so about once a week, he would come by and just see what we were doing, and we'd ask him questions, and then he would be like, well, I would do this right here, and then he would leave, and then the next few days, that's what we would work on. We would do that, and, we might call him up and say, hey, can you come and see if we did this right? What you think about this? But anyway, me and Big Daddy had built onto the house. So we kind of had a little bit of knowledge of what we needed to do, but we just did it. And so Elijah, he has always been our plumber since he was a little kid, okay? Big Daddy might not have could have got under the house to do the plumbing, but he could send Elijah under there and tell him what to do. So Elijah's been a plumber since he was a little kid. So he plumbed the house. He's just always been our little plumber. And we had a pipe leak here a few weeks ago, and we had that ice storm. I was like, well, our plumber's in Arkansas. What are we going to do? But fortunately, we did have a friend that came and helped, Zeke's dad. But, yeah, I was like, well, our plumber's in Arkansas. What are we going to do? But yeah, my kids learn things like that at a young age. Working on vehicles, if you don't have the money to take your car to the shop, you figure it out yourself. You figure out, what's wrong with it, what parts you need. Can you get the parts from the junkyard? Or do you need to go buy the parts from like AutoZone or somewhere? So, yeah, we're the kind of people we try to figure it out on our own first and do, try to fix it ourselves and do things like that before we actually call someone else. The only way we call somebody else or pay to have something done is if we just totally cannot do it ourselves. But yeah, so my kids have, and I really contribute all that to part of their homeschool. Like, I lump all that in. I meant to say. I lump all that in with part of their homeschooling, life skills, learning how to tend to vehicles, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay, somebody asked if I picked out colors for next month's blanket or whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of mulling around in my mind what I might do for next month. I might do just a bunch of granny squares to make those granny square crossover bags. So I might just use a bunch of different, I have lots of cakes and such. And so I might make granny squares, or I might make baby loveys, because we do plan on doing a market in June for sure. Possibly one before that, but I'm not really sure. It just depends on how health is going, and we hadn't even discussed to see if we're on the same page for that right now. But, so I might do that this next month. Just make up granny squares. Just see how many granny squares I can do, and then put them together to make crossbody bags. Or baby loveys or something, you know. And I might not do that for the whole month. Might make half the month granny square crossover bags and half the month baby loveys. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing. Who knows? I thought about doing a blanket each month, but I do need projects for those. You know, if I'm going to do a market, I do need projects. So, yeah, I might be doing some of those kind of things. Somebody asked, am I scared of storms? No, I'm not, because when it's your time to go, it's your time to go, right? I mean, I do believe in being cautious, but I don't fret over storms really, because, yeah, if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. I usually just go to bed. When we have bad weather, I just go to bed. And I sleep through it. And I don't even know if it happened or not. Let's see. Let me see. I can't read my writing. Oh, the question they get in every video. What are these right here? These are crochet handles on these hooks. These are rubber bands. And somebody named Tina Camper made these. And she's on YouTube as Tina Camper. She might be on Facebook as Tina Camper, but she made these wonderful handles for me, and they're about 3 inches around, and so that makes it great for my hand. And yeah, I use these, and I love them. I keep them right here, and everybody's always asking, what's that in that purple bin? So that's what it is. Here comes Sissy. I was wondering how long I was going to make it before one of the cats got up here. And here's Sissy girl. What is it, Sissy? Alright, so let's go on, moving on. Somebody asked, since I like, you know, water, being around water, do I know how to swim? Yes, I swim. I grew up swimming. I grew up in the lake. I just have always been swimming my whole life. I remember as a little bitty kid, probably 3-4 years old, we were being Lake Darbone, and my mom would just pick me up and throw me out, and then she'd say, swim, swim, and like a dummy, I would swim to her, and she would pick me up and throw me again. I don't know why I didn't swim the other way or swim to the shore. But anyway, yeah, I've learned to swim at a young age, and I've always been a swimmer. Hey, Sissy, you just want to be close to me? You just want to be close? Yeah. Let's see. Swim. Oh, I laughed and laughed about... Someone said that when they were in kindergarten, they had to wear an eye patch. And so the kids, you know, would be like, you know, why are you wearing an eye patch? And so they told the kids that they had the eye patch on because they were a pirate. And so, and this was when they were in kindergarten. And so that is so funny. Because, you know, in kindergarten, we do really dumb things, don't we? So they told they were a pirate. And then they had some scars. And the kids want to know where they got the scars, and they told the kids this because they flew through the windshield. of the vehicle. And so, yeah. And they said that didn't really happen. Isn't it amazing the things we do in kindergarten? Now, when I was in kindergarten, I remember this day very clear. Okay, so if it was your birthday, you got to be the class helper, okay? So my kindergarten teacher, Miss Hall, she asked one morning, was it anyone's birthday? We looked around the room and nobody raised their hand or anything. And I remember thinking to myself, like, well, shouldn't she have a list? Well, she made it very clear that she didn't have a list because she kept asking. Well, I raised my hand. Hey, if it ain't nobody else's birthday, it might as well be mine. So I raised my hand, and so I got to be class helper. It was not my birthday. I don't know why I did that. Well, then, later, I don't remember why, but my father, came and picked me up from school early that day, okay? I don't remember why he picked me up, but he did. And so he come to the door of the classroom and talked to the teacher and told him he was there to pick me up. So she come got me and told me my dad was there to pick me up. And then we went back out in the hallway, and she said, oh, I guess you're taking her out of school early today so y'all can go do something for her birthday. And I don't remember what he said, but we left. And then he said, we got in the vehicle, he said, so today's your birthday? And I told him the story. I was like, well, it wasn't anybody else's. Who was going to be her helper? So I had to pretend it was my birthday so she'd have a helper. Yeah, the dumb things we do in kindergarten. So, moving on. Okay, so here's a good question. Somebody asked if I had money to buy any yarn I wanted, like the money wasn't an issue, and I could just go buy any yarn I wanted to buy, would I buy fancy yarns that I don't normally buy, or what? What would I do? What yarns would I buy? Honestly, I would buy the yarn that I'm going to use. I would buy the yarns that I'm going to most likely use up and use in a project. Because, I would think, what's the point of having fancy yarns if that's not the yarn that you use a lot and that you make everyday things with? Then you still wouldn't have any yarn to crochet with because you wouldn't want to use the fancy yarn to make, an amigurumi or a little throw blanket or so, I don't know. So anyway, I would buy the yarns that I normally, do buy. I'm very frugal anyway. I'll check prices like everywhere to get my best price before I buy something. I want to know how much is it at Target, how much is it at Walmart, how much is it on Amazon, and is it listed on eBay? Is it, somebody selling one in Marketplace? I want to know prices on everything and compare before I actually buy something. But anyway, I would buy what I'm going to get the most use out of. Because if I bought yarns that are these specialty yarns that I wouldn't use, then I didn't really benefit myself. That's my thoughts. Now, somebody else may think something totally, totally different, and that's okay. We don't have to think the same on everything, or anything at all, to be honest. But anyway, the swelling in my legs is better. Thank you so much for asking. And it's my fault. I need to be better at going and laying down at times, like sitting up a little while and then going laying down and getting my legs up. I need to be better at that. I'll find that I'll just, sit in here and crochet, go do something else, and, like, I'm not taking the time to go and lay down sometimes. And when I do that, if I do that a couple of days in a row, yes, I feel horrible chronic pain-wise, but also my legs and feet will swell because I'm just not getting them up enough. So that's totally me. I need to be better at that and make myself go lay down instead of, but sometimes I get busy and I've got things going on, or we're running here, running there, doing, out of the house doing this, and yeah, and then I notice my legs are swollen and then they start weeping, but they're better. I've been trying my best to take the time to go lay down. Let's see. Somebody asked about my favorite food as a child. I thought about that. I really just cannot think of anything. We had a place that was like a mom and pop place called the Hustle Burger. The old Hustle Burger, and they had some good tasting hamburgers. So I probably would guess them. But favorite food as a child, I don't know. Chocolate milk has always been a favorite of mine. But food-wise, meal-wise, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I know I keep saying I don't know. And you know why I don't know? Because, remember, I raised myself. And when a kid is raising themselves, they don't have these great meals, okay? They're lucky if they have a box of macaroni and cheese to make some macaroni. Okay, my mom did not buy groceries. She did not. We had very few groceries in the house. If my mom decided she wanted something to eat, she got in the car and she went to a restaurant and ate. Okay? If she decided she wanted a Coke, she got in the car and went to a store or, get a Coke on ice or either a restaurant or something like that. She did not cook. We didn't go to the grocery store. We didn't go to the grocery store and buy groceries. Like all these years with my kids, we've made menus or grocery lists and went to the store and bought groceries. I didn't grow up like that. We didn't have groceries in the house. As a kid, if I was home by myself a lot. I raised myself. I promise you I did. If I wanted something to eat, there was a convenience store that had like some foods, and I'd ride my bicycle down there and buy something to eat. Yeah, there was nobody cooking meals at my house. Honestly, there wasn't. So, that's why I probably don't really have a favorite food. Because there wasn't any food going on. I had a favorite restaurants. We went to restaurants, and like we would go get something to eat before school, and then after school, and then possibly, like for dinner that night or something. Yes, we ate out a lot. I grew up eating out. That was just the lifestyle. And so yeah. And that's if I got something to eat. I mean, sometimes my mom would eat and not take me with her. Sometimes I didn't get to go, or sometimes I'd be off in the neighborhood somewhere and she would go eat dinner, and then later I'd find out, I missed dinner because they went and ate and I wasn't around to go. So yeah, that's just the way it was back then, I don't know. That's the way I grew up, so that was the norm for me. That was normal. Somebody asked, how do I pick names for my animals? I think I went through the other day, maybe even yesterday, I was talking about some chihuahuas. names. I've had a lot of Chihuahua dogs, and I always try to give Chihuahuas Mexican names. I don't know, that's just my thing. So I've had, like Consuela, Jose, Pedro, Sophia, now I have Phoebe. I just always gave Chihuahuas Mexican names. I don't know. Are you saying everybody else don't do that? I don't know. And I do like people names for my dogs. I do. I did have a poodle named Sugar, but other than her, I think most of our dogs have always had people names, and Dakota's the same way. I mean, he had a Taco, but then whenever he got the dog he has now, after Taco passed away, and he finally got Windsor, he was trying to think of a name for him, and he, said he wanted a person name for him. So, yeah. I don't know why. It's just, I never even thought about that, other than I do know that I give Chihuahuas Mexican names. Let's see. Oh, somebody asked about toes. Yes, my toes, I do have issues with my feet, with Raynaud's. My toes are, like lots of times my whole feet, both feet feel like blocks of ice, and my toes are just super cold or white or dark purple. I mean, it varies. It varies all the way. Last night, the soles of my feet hurt really bad. I couldn't hardly walk because the soles of my feet were real sore and hurting. Okay, so moving on, let's see. I've never heard of electric scissors. Somebody mentioned electric scissors. Well, I've never heard of that. I'm gonna have to look that up and see what that's about. I never heard of it. Learn something new every day. Let's see. Somebody asked, why don't we move closer to the hospital that I go to every 2 weeks? Well, I'm only going this frequently right now because they're upping my pain pump medication. Otherwise, I'd be probably going like every 3 months or so, like that. But we would never leave our home. Like, this is our home. It's paid for. I mean, I would not leave my home and then go and pay to live somewhere else. No. And plus, we would be moving way further away from Big Daddy's job. He lives, like, say we live here. He works, I said lives, he works an hour this way. Like, you go out this way and then go up is where he works. And it's about an hour to get there. The hospital is this way, about 2.5 hours. So, yeah, that would be very long. And at his age and his health, he can't just run out and get another job. That would be hard for someone. He's, 50? Is he 55 or 56? He'll be 56 this year. He would have difficulty finding a job. And also difficulty finding one that would understand, like he has to take off sometimes for his wife's health issues. His job is very understanding about that and everything. So he wouldn't want to change jobs. First off, I wouldn't want to leave my house. I don't want to go pay rent or house payment or something somewhere. So we're not moving. We're content. We'll be here until the cows come home, okay? We'll be here till the cows come home, and sometimes they do. Sometimes you never know. We had a one time, every time me and the kids would turn on the road, like we'd be coming home at night or something, we'd turn on the road, a cow would run out in front of us and cross the road. And I told Big Daddy that, and he didn't believe us. He thought we were just making that mess up. And I did call and report it to the sheriff's department a couple of times that there's a cow running around out here, and it crosses the road when we turn on the road. And, you know, we nearly hit it one night because we just wasn't expecting a cow to be standing in the road. And so Big Daddy never believed us. He thought we were just pulling his leg, because sometimes we would do stuff like that, you know, say stuff just to get a reaction or whatever. And then my friend Shalita was coming one night, her and her family, and the cow ran out in front of them. So then he kind of believed me after that. But you never know what's going to run out in front of you around here. That particular period, there was a cow. And it would run out on the road every time he'd pull on the road. It would cross the road. So, hey, diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle. The cow jumped over the moon, and we would say the cow jumped over the road. Because you never knew if it was going to be there or not. But anyway, we'll be here till the cows come home. Let's see. I think I've answered all of them. I think I've gotten through all the questions. That was fun. It was lots of questions on there that I probably wouldn't have thought to, like, you know, talk about or mention. So I do appreciate that. Y'all always come up with some great questions. And like I said, it don't matter what you ask. There's a few things that you know, personal things that I don't want to talk about that I'm not going to, you know, answer, but that's okay. You know, it's not like it's a bad question. It's just my situation is not normal. And so I might skip a question or two. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you all so much for being here. I hope you all have a good Friday night, weekend, whenever you're watching this. I hope you have a good time. I hope you stay safe, stay dry, stay cool, stay warm, whatever it is you need to do. Take care of yourself, because nobody else is going to take care of you if you don't take care of yourself, right? So look out for your animals and other people that you know. But guys, I love you all, and I just appreciate you being here and hanging out with me and letting me keep you company while you're crocheting or folding clothes or diamond painting or whatever it is you're doing. I'm glad to spend time with you, and remember, it's a beautiful day to crochet, my friends. Love you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.